as Adi alluded to, one of the big things for us obviously is communication across our pathways and within our networks. And although we haven't sort of gone into, the sports science side of things in terms of, how that feeds into the system as well, one of the unknowns for us is, the impact of what training looks like in terms of, not just dive numbers. One of the things that, people possibly don't understand is like we're tracking more than just one load. So, each of our divers has between 5 and 6 dives in varying different directions, which has an impact on their physical health, their performance health. And, in terms of now having some really clean data that we can actually utilize from a day-to-day perspective, bringing an athlete back from injury now is so much easier, because you'll actually find at times where one particular dive may actually have no load at all. So it's not as simple as just going, oh, you've got 100 dives today. It's actually what contributes to load. And they're the things that we're actually starting to learn. And I think, as I said to Adi at the beginning of this, it doesn't change coaching. We're not trying to, take away the coach's job. We're actually just trying to be more informed about the decisions we make. And it really is about informed decision making. So as Adi said, if we're actually able to see how we prescribe, see how the athlete's dealing with that, we can actually make some informed decision with all the information, not just going, okay, well, this is what we did today. And that's been the real shift for us. And then moving forward, obviously, how the physio information integrates into that, and how those reports on a daily and weekly and monthly basis to all our key stakeholders actually informs performance. And again, I come back to our ultimate goal is for all sports is, keeping these guys fit and healthy enough that they can perform.
I think, like Mike was saying, it's just a really good foundation now that behaviour change has been set, and these, data flowing into the right spot and into the one spot it sets them up to take things into the future where we can actually see this tool influencing decision making and coaching, and ultimately performance, I guess.
I mean, my final comments would be that the fact that we have a regular check-in with this team on a weekly basis, because it's just alive. It's not something that was, okay, it's done and off we go. I think having the scientists behind this and a place where we can just check on and endlessly tweaking, so that we can keep this thing alive as we move forward has been a real gain. And I think now we're moving into, having presented data, we've got, as we can see, a lot more data coming in. We're actually needing to make good decisions about how we then report that back to athletes, as I said. But also one of the fun ideas, I think that communication, and as we said, there's the additional communication of managing the coaching group, which is done by, we tend to sign one of us off that brings it into a WhatsApp group. And we've actually run Teams meetings with the coaches to really make sure that we're engaging feedback, and we've engaged athletes as well, who I think in the future will have more. We may even have an athlete in that regular meeting. I think that without that, it doesn't work. That communication is essential. And just lastly, I know I ramble on, but this is very exciting for us. A new idea as well is actually going underneath categorized athletes into our talent pathways, further down into the system, and developing simple Excel methods by which we track our divers right from the lower end. So we're training and educating and a tool, and we're hopefully going to come up with this whereby when either the coach or the athlete moves into this level, the data can be brought through and they are teed up and ready to go with something like this. They're not just walking into it and having to learn from scratch. So we're still thinking about methods to educate pre getting near AMS as well. So there's lots of good things going on in that space.